Last night I dreamed that right after my friend Chris and my younger brother and I finished watching a documentary about some guy who supposedly has the most attractive butt in all of South America, really thought a lot about omitting that detail of this recap, but I'm being honest here. This is it's a bit of an experiment, so I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to relay to you even the most embarrassing details of my dreams. I really don't think that much. I mean, me personally, I don't think that much about the butts of other men, but we were watching a documentary about some guy who supposedly had the best butt in all of South America, and yeah, I remember it showed him going for walks alone. People weren't clamoring to be a part of his day-to-day existence. And I remember all three of us agreed that, like, you know, there's nothing that special about this guy's posterior. But anyways, after we were finished with the butt documentary, my younger brother and my friend insisted that I finally see Casino. Casino is a movie, and I'm a bit ashamed to admit this as well, that I've never seen Casino. I've only seen fragments of it. I've only sat down beside my brother whenever he pops it in, and I'll catch like 30 or 40 minutes of it, you know, and then I get interrupted, or I figure, well, I don't want to continue watching this because I didn't sit down from the very beginning to see it. So I over the years, from having sat down or caught it on television, even though it's heavily edited in that case, I've probably seen 75% of the film Casino, but I've not actually just sat down and watched it from beginning to end. Now, I'll correct that soon and finally just go ahead and do that. But in this dream, yeah, my brother and my friend Chris finally persuaded me to just sit down and watch this film. But the funny thing is that in my dream, this was not really Casino. It wasn't Casino at all. It took place, the movie that we watched took place in a small town. It looked like the town in Hoosiers. It was a period piece. I believe it was set in the 1950s, and it just concerned two guys who had stolen some money, or just, you know, had made a bad investment, lost a lot of money, and somewhere along, maybe they borrowed some money and just couldn't pay it back, or I don't know, they couldn't pay off a gambling debt. But it was two guys who had, you know, ruffled the feathers of some really dangerous organized criminal elements here, and they were after them, and they were going to kill them unless they could produce whatever it was they owed to these guys, you know, by a certain date. And in the movie that we were watching, that was supposed to be Casino, I remember there was a tease that it was going to have a happy ending, that the guys are going to be bailed out by the father. One of their fathers was a bus driver, and he'd won a contest on the radio, the grand prize. Like, you know, just as these guys are thinking, okay, the only solution is we're going to have to move out of state, change our names, one of their dads sits down. He's just gotten off of his shift of driving the bus, puts his hat on the table of this diner that, you know, the two guys had been eating in, and says, no, everything's all taken care of. I won, you know, such and such contest, and they're just so, they're so relieved, they're so elated, and you're thinking, okay, these guys are going to get off the hook, and it's just, you know, I think their debt in the first place had something to do with gambling, and then that was supposed to be the irony of this happy ending, was that they won. You know, they ended up living by chance. They were saved by just chance, like a contest win. But anyways, after one of their dads had made this announcement, they finished up their coffee, they left the diner, and the dad said, "Yeah, I've got to go collect the prize money in this hotel room." And already I'm thinking, okay, something bad's going to happen here. They've got his money ready, but you know, he has to go to this hotel room to collect it. They're going to shoot him in the head or something. But anyways, guy goes with his son and his friend, two guys who were in trouble. They all three of them go to this hotel room to collect the prize money. And Sharon Stone is there, naked, on a bed. And Robert De Niro is there. And Sharon Stone's jealous husband is there. I can't remember who played Sharon Stone's jealous husband. But he was this real, guy with a real short temper, real fidgety, and he was a thin, wiry kind of build. It wasn't James Woods. But anyways, they get in there, and Sharon Stone's naked and smoking, and she's has her hair and makeup done up in such a way that she looks like a 50s or 60s glamour model. I remember in the dream thinking that she reminded me of Jane Mansfield, actually, the way that she was just done up. She's flirting with the two guys while the jealous husband is supposedly going into the bathroom to get the suitcase full of money that the dad has won in this contest. And at a certain point, the one of the two guys who was in trouble just can't take it any longer. He's so attracted to Sharon Stone, he just jumps on top of her, and they just start having sex. And then the jealous husband eventually emerges from the bathroom with a suitcase full of money, and when he does so, he sees his wife having sex with this guy on the hotel bed. He flips, tosses the suitcase into a corner of the room, goes back into the bathroom, emerges with a machine gun, blows away Sharon Stone and this guy that she's fornicating with, and also shoots the dad, the bus driver dad. But the one guy who's in trouble gets away unscathed. He bails and manages to run away. I think the guy, the jealous husband, was trying to shoot at him from the hotel window when he saw him running through the parking lot shortly afterward, but he was out of bullets. And for some reason, De Niro also bailed, but before De Niro bailed, he grabbed the money. And then it's like in this stupid movie, we cut ahead. It's supposed to be 15 or 20 years ahead, and we just see that since De Niro and this guy were just both involved in this ugly incident where a few people were murdered, they had to stick together, and they had to change their names, and they had to live together. They chose to live together basically for the rest of their lives, because neither one trusted the other to not talk, I guess. I don't know. I just remember an ending where there was a baby in a baby stroller in this living room, and the surviving man from the two guys who'd gotten into trouble earlier in the film was just miserable, and looking at this baby and having this baby hold on to his finger was the first thing that had brought him joy in a long time. And as soon as a smile kind of creeps over his face, De Niro walks into the room and just, says some vile crap and tells everybody to shut up, and you feel sorry for this guy because of how crappy his life turned out living with this old cantankerous Robert De Niro. And I remember after the movie was done, my friend Chris was picking up beer cans, empty beer cans, and putting them into a garbage bag. And I remember saying to him, the guy who played the bus driver father was Mickey Stanley, and he used to play for the Detroit Tigers around the same time that Al Kaline did.